What's going on? Welcome to Asian Cosell. So I got a video by Jason Whitlock here. Yep, so they're talking about Shedeur Sanders, being mocked during the minicamp. So let's get into Jason Whitlock and Stephen Kim here. So let's get into this.
Sanders and just all the hype that his rookie minicamp got. And I saw someone, I can't remember who it was, but I saw someone say all this conversation about Shedeur Sanders and Kevin Stefanski getting asked by a reporter. Well, Shedeur he took the second team reps. He didn't take them with, it's like, this is why no one wanted Shedeur Sanders. Just there's too much hype around a 5th round pick. Your thoughts?
Well, based on what is going on social media, I believe like Letitia James in Times Square, he'll be getting a statue too. Right now, he is Mr. May. Look, every quarterback that I know of at that level, they look good in minicamp and they look good against air and they look pretty good on 7-on-7s. But I do find it interesting. Every completion is a dime. Every long shot is an absolute rope. And I'm thinking, this reminds me a lot of boxing, Jason. Every time you go on social media, and let's say there's an average to pretty good prize fighter that works the mitts, they all look good. I've never actually seen a fighter, let's say at the 8 to 10 round level, they all look to a certain degree like Floyd Mayweather. They really do. You know why? Because the mitts don't hit back. So that's what I kind of think about it. But you're right. The amount of attention, the over-the-top adulation that is being given to a 5th round draft choice right now, I think a lot of teams are looking at that. That's exactly why he was off our board.
So I don't know who the source of this tweet is or this post, but people were praising Shedeur for taking a team photo. I hope y'all understand how dope this is. He took a picture with all the guys that earned a tryout opportunity with the Browns. Can just tell he's a damn good teammate and a solid person.
Oh, God.
I wonder, some of this stuff on Twitter makes me think like this is bought and paid for PR, that this is where public relations is really done, is over social media and Twitter, and this all seems organized. It's not organic.
With this Shedeur Sanders, who was supposed to be a projected top 9 or top 10 pick, he goes all the way down to the 5th round for Cleveland. And he's doing everything to, I don't know, get on this team, or he's probably on the team. They probably have a spot for him, as much as that, is crazy working with the second team. So, we're going to have to see, but let's hear some more.
Shedeur ends up making the roster. And based on that tweet, this is what I think is going to happen, Jason. If he shows up for team picture day with 44 of his other teammates, he might be in the Browns Ring of Honor. Right up there next to Cosell, Ozzie Newsome, Jim Brown, Otto Graham, Shedeur Sanders. You know why? Because he showed up for photo day. Now that's a teammate there, Whitlock, right there.
And so there is another side to it as well, in terms of there are people making fun of Shedeur. It's not just all praise. I think sometimes the sarcasm goes over people's heads. But one of the tweets that caught my attention was someone clearly mocking Shedeur. History made. Shedeur Sanders had another legendary showing in his second day at rookie minicamp yesterday. 28 of 30, 412 yards, 5 touchdowns. Sanders is the only player in NFL rookie minicamp history to throw for 400-plus yards and 5 TDs in back-to-back days. Then someone saying Sanders threw 81.5 yards. Shedeur Sanders just threw this ball 81.5 air yards. That would break the NFL record previously held by Baker Mayfield. Sanders has an arm. Some people did not catch the sarcasm, but I did. These types of jokes are going to be commonplace as it relates to Shedeur. Oh, he just cut the greatest fart in Browns locker room history. It smelled for 38 seconds straight. The previous record had been 36 and a half.
Yeah, but hold on. Yeah, he broke the record of Bob Golick, I think, but his smelled like roses. So that's like, again, I know you're not a Shedeur Sanders fan, but give this young man credit. The only way this tweet could have been even more perfect was to end it. Next stop, Canton. Now, I know I said we shouldn't take this stuff seriously because you're running around cones and you're in shorts and t-shirts or in shells, basically. I can't lie though, Jason. As I'm watching footage of Mason Graham, who was a top 5 pick, the stalwart inside out of Michigan, wobble around the field. I can't lie to you though, Jason. I was like, wow, he looks mighty unathletic. But again, he's doing American Gladiator drills. Let's see what happens when the pads are actually on and you're playing some real football. But the interesting thing about Shedeur is I'm reading reports that his jersey is already among the league leaders. He might, believe it or not, already be the most popular Cleveland Brown based on what I saw over the weekend.
Whoa.
So let's fast forward about 3-4 months, Jason. We get into training camp. Let's say that other guy that just happened to be drafted 2 rounds before him, Dylan Gabriel, actually outperforms him. Flacco stays healthy. Pickett plays pretty well. The Browns have a bit of a conundrum, Jason. Do they keep the player that they drafted higher that internally the staff says, this is our guy? He is more suited to be the 3rd quarterback or just be on the practice squad? Or do we keep the popular guy? Then I have a question, Jason. Does then Jimmy Haslam once again intervene?
That's a fascinating question. And so.
Yeah, it is. Before they get into this, do they just keep Shedeur Sanders for, I don't know, to sell jerseys? Some teams have done that before. So just remains to be seen. Let's see.
If Dylan Gabriel plays well, Kenny Pickett or Joe Flacco, isn't Flacco back there?
Yes.
One of those guys is getting cut no matter what they do. It's easy to cut Flacco. He's old. He's not really going to lead you anywhere. Hold on. What are they doing with Deshaun Watson?
He's injured.
Is he out this?
Yeah, he's kind of injured. So we don't know his status. And Jason Flacco, a couple of years ago, played pretty good ball for Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually a chance, and this is an indictment on that whole room, he might still be their best option.
Yeah.
Yes, even at that age.
I agree.
Hey, listen, if Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur, but if Gabriel in particular shows anything, he'll end up being the starter and Shedeur will end up being the backup.
I couldn't believe how much mucus came out of my lungs the first time I tried this. It felt like I could finally breathe again.
All right, get the radar.
And Joe Flacco, if he should, that's the position. If Shedeur shows anything, he makes the team, and they have to let go of Flacco or Kenny Pickett, if not both.
Jason, that is a doomsday scenario for everybody, including Gabriel, Stefanski, and the coordinator. Because think about what's going to happen. You know it's going to occur. They're going to play a really tough defensive team, and I think Dylan Gabriel has a lot of the intangibles. The physical intangibles he lacks, and I don't know if anyone's good enough to overcome the fact that he's 5'10", doesn't have a great arm. And for all the talk of Shedeur throwing short passes, so did Gabriel. So I'm not so sure he has the pure arm talent or strength to be a full-time starter. But every time that this Brown offense goes 3 and out, punt, 3 and out, punt, 3 and out, punt, you know what's going to happen, Jason. There's going to be a buzz around the stadium. The thing's going to go viral on social media. There will be loud chants for Shedeur. Who wants to be a part of that quagmire? Giggity.
Cleveland could. And this may be some risk to this.
Okay, yeah, before going to risk, but yeah, that's a conundrum I don't want to be part of. And this is going to be kind of crazy when we get down to this season. Yeah, how many 3-and-outs and punt unless Flacco can go in there and still do the job, and I still think Flacco can still play. But let's see.
But you do all this hype around Shedeur, and you get into training camp, and someone gets hurt. Now Shedeur has trade value. If you can create a hype that, oh boy, he was underdrafted, and look how amazing he's looked in Browns camp, and he's been this ideal teammate. Because I've seen all these look at Shedeur. He visited a high school. He did this. He did. I mean, everything that Shedeur is doing is showing up on my X feed, and to me, he's trying to do a rehab of his reputation. I don't know if you saw. I think it may have been Pro Football Talk or somebody said that the Browns, or not the Browns, the Giants won't release the video of Shedeur's visit with them because it's so bad it would bury him, and so they won't release it. But all of this seems like they're just Dion and Shedeur and their marketing team realize that Shedeur's reputation and the way he carried himself cost him $30, $40, $50 million, and they're trying to rehabilitate this guy's image as a good teammate and a can't-miss talent. And I think they're hoping that someone has an injury during preseason or early in the season, and Shedeur has some trade value.
Jason, that's interesting. What could a 5th-round draft choice get 3-4 months later? I mean, the only comparable situation I can come off the top of my head with, I remember in 1989, the Dallas Cowboys, when Jimmy and Jerry took over, it was an easy pick. It was Troy Aikman was number 1, right? He would have been number 1 with Gil Brandt and Tex Schramm and Tom Landry. And then Jimmy threw a curveball into it, and Steve Walsh decided he wasn't going to stay for a senior year at the U. He went to the supplemental, and then Jimmy said, okay, you know what? I want to pick up another piece. And everyone knew Troy Aikman was the guy with the upside. And then they ended up trading Steve Walsh right during the 1990 season, and they got a pretty good haul.
Yeah.
Jason, I'm not so sure that you get that much for Shedeur Sanders. Keep this in mind. It was only 2-3 weeks ago. A lot of these teams had him off the board completely. So again, you're still talking about a relatively depressed, limited market. And as for that footage, Jason, I want to see it. I want to see it, and I will examine that thing frame by frame like the Zapruder film. And for all these people that say, it's never been released, we've never, that's not true. Maybe not the meetings where the players go visit, but I remember last year when the New York Giants did an off-season Hard Knocks, Jason, on HBO. I don't know if you watched any of it. I loved it. They actually showed some of the meetings from the NFL combines and what Brian Dable and the rest of that staff puts a player through. They showed at least 3 or 4 players. So when people say stuff like that's never been released, that simply is not true.
Don't miss a second of Fearless.
Yeah, that's gonna be a crazy. That's gonna be so ugly one this season. But yeah, there could be a possibility. Get some preseason, even if it's 2-3 games instead of 4. Somebody could get injured, and we'll have to see. Now, the trade value, I don't see that much of a trade value for Shedeur because, I mean, look how many teams passed on him till the 5th round, even if he was supposed to go top 10. But yeah, it's going to be quite a circus in Cleveland as long as Shedeur's on there. So we'll see. And shout out to Jason Whitlock. All right, so if any of you enjoyed any of this content, please give me the HKL special, help the king out. Hit the like, subscribe, and comment, and wherever you are, stay safe, and I'll see you in my next video.